The next part of becoming the great salesperson you were meant to be is understanding the sales wheels. Now, any sales conversation has four main elements. 1, what are you doing? 2, what are you spending whilst doing that? 3, what problems are you having whilst you're doing that? And 4, how are you solving them? Let's look at that in a little bit more detail. So what are you doing now actually means, what is the customer doing? What are they using? What are they buying? What is their current situation? And obviously it's going to be relevant to the product or service that you're selling. So for example, if you were selling cars, the question would be, what car are you driving at the moment? If you were selling an online training software solution, for example, the question might be, how do you train your staff currently? In line with this, it's easy to see what are you currently spending on that, following on directly from what is it you're doing at the moment. So in training it would be, well, how much are you spending on training? And actually you can then move it on to the next part. Are you having any problems with your training at the moment? And obviously then you move on to the last part, which is, and how are you solving those problems at the moment? You might say in training terms, how are your staff at the moment? Do you have any problems with them? How are you solving those problems, and what are you spending on solving those problems? So fundamentally, you look at the wheels, and here they are. The first wheel will have split into 2 parts. The top part, what are you doing currently? And the lower part, and what are you spending whilst doing that? And on the second wheel, it'll be, what problems are you having at the moment? And the bottom part, how are you solving them? As you can see, all of the questions are based in the here and now. And in grammatical terms, that means present tense. Now, traditionally, in sales, we want to talk about what the customer is doing now, what he's planning on spending now, what his problems are now, and how he's solving them now. We do this because we want the customer to do or have something different in the future that will eradicate his problems in the future based on a solution that we're delivering or he's getting in the future. So whilst people have a problem now, we want them to have no problems in the future. The difficulty is that we put pressure on ourselves and our customers by phrasing our questions and comments in the present tense. We're actually creating a number of psychological and emotional barriers to good communication because of incorrect use of tense. Who would have thought that grammar could be so relevant to selling? And I'll explain. Now, I appreciate that this is very, very tricky. However, the situation is that this is advanced sales techniques. And if you want to be an advanced, great salesperson, you need to look at the bigger picture. So what I'd like you to do is to approach the following material with an open mind and give it as much attention and as much re-watching as possible so that you can really understand this, because it really is important and will make selling ultimately extremely easy. The fact is that when we are asked a question in the present, we feel a bit judged, we feel a bit under pressure, we feel expected to come up with an instant answer because it's something happening to us now. This puts us under pressure and we get a little bit defensive. Does this sound strange? Well, remember something. Think about when you were at school. How often did teachers question you? I'd imagine all day long. You were asked questions to demonstrate your knowledge continually, both in writing, homework, and in class. In fact, teachers would often ask students questions specifically when they're not paying attention and looking out the window, possibly to show your peers and your fellow students what happens if you don't listen, as part of the teacher's control system. If we're all being honest with each other, nobody looked out the window ever at school, did they? Well, I'll put my hands up and say there were plenty of occasions where, because I wasn't engaged by the teacher, I looked out of the window or my mind wandered. And I'm sure really, if we're all being honest with each other, you did the same. Fact is, we've all experienced firsthand or indirectly a teacher humiliating us or one of our classmates by saying to them, "What did I just say, Smith?" And Smith looking shocked and hurt and humiliated as everyone laughed at him because he'd been caught out. Well, every time we ask a customer a question, we are keying in to those moments on an emotional level.